Selling is a science. Do you have sizzlemanship? If not, you would be wise to acquire it, brown baggers, for your future in the business world today largely depends upon it. Selling is a science, whether it be shining shoes or putting over $1 million deal. Selling is a science, whether it be running a big office or practicing chiropractic. Selling not always deals with dollars and cents. As such, it includes services. And that is where your practice comes in for an evaluation of your own sizzlemanship. A case in point is Elmer Wheeler. He is a scientific salesman. He has that quality called sizzlemanship, a term that he coined. Wheeler is a success at rejuvenating a failing practice or pushing a successful venture to great heights. Tagged as America's #1 salesman, Wheeler made the keynote address to the 115th Parker School of Practice Building Seminar during the third homecoming in Fort Worth in May of 1960. Some of you might have heard him. How we answer questions, explain chiropractic, explain time, explain cost, explain referral concepts, and other facets of our profession is a selling task. Some do it scientifically, others by ear. Occasionally, a born salesman arrives on the horizon, and he seems to slide effortlessly to the top. The key to his success is his inherent ability to sell scientifically by seeing things through the eyes of others. To put it another way, viewed through the eyes of the advertising salesman on Madison Avenue, they say, if you would sell John Smith what John Smith buys, then you must see John Smith through John Smith's eyes. Elmer Wheeler had some of this ability at birth. He later developed selling into a science through years of study, research, and thousands of tests. Here is a sample of Wheeler's successful technique. A chain of drugstores was losing money on its fountain sales. Nearly 90% of its sales were nickel milkshakes. Wheeler studied the selling procedures and suggested that the fountain girls offer the customers the alternative. 1 or 2 eggs, please. The eggless nickel milkshake cost the company money. A 10-cent milkshake with 1 egg returned a profit of 1.5 cents each. To improve the return, Wheeler soon had the sales girls holding up 2 eggs to a customer in one hand and inquiring, 2 eggs? As they shook their heads up and down in a yes motion. The 15-cent milkshake with 2 eggs soon put the fountain on an excellent profit basis. This is scientific selling. People want us to use scientific selling on them. Patients want to be sold. Patients desire to be happy about their choice of chiropractic as a method of getting well, and you as the doctor to get them well. Improved scientific selling increases profit, just as continued research into how to sell chiropractic increases the number of satisfied patients and referrals. The father of John Dewey, the great educator, ran a store in Burlington, Vermont. He sold more goods than anyone else in town. His sign simply read, hams and cigars, smoked and unsmoked. This, too, was scientific selling. A friend of mine here in Fort Worth went into the service station business. I sent him a note recommending he put up a sign, your tank full free if you guess how much it takes. He printed the big sign and doubled his sales in 6 weeks. It was a terrific novelty, and the word spread all over town. The advertising venture cost him about a dozen correct guesses, or less than $40. This was making selling a science. I suggested to my brother, who is a realtor here in Fort Worth, that he put on his sign the words, too late instead of sold after he had sold one of his houses. He did so, and it attracted so much attention he got a write-up about it in the State Realtor Journal, to say nothing of the interest it created in future customers. This was making selling a science. Rotary is an elite organization made up of men of integrity and goodwill. One told how he answered a competitor's situation when he was undersold. Said he, "I have no quarrel with anyone who sells for less. After all, they ought to know what their merchandise is worth." Selling is logic. Selling is convincing. Selling is a science. And who has more integrity than a good Rotarian? One day a businessman looked out of his office window and saw 3 boys with shoeshine kits across the street. He noticed one of them was continuously busy, while the other 2 snared only an occasional customer. Curious, he investigated. He found that the 2 less successful boys were just as eager and energetic as the busy one, but they merely inquired, "Shine, mister?" But the successful lad suggested something to them by saying, "Shine for Sunday, mister?" That's scientific selling, brown baggers. On a train, the candy butcher went down the aisle distributing spoonfuls of salted peanuts among the passengers. On his next round, with appetites whetted, he sold his entire supply. Yes, selling is a science, like proper office procedure must be a science. I saw a sign in the California store, "We buy old furniture, we sell antiques." Scientific selling made the difference. Scientific selling often turns a liability into an asset. A potential real estate customer was looking over a house and noticed water running down the walls. "It's a bit damp, isn't it?" he asked. "Damp?" echoed the salesman. "Of course it's damp. Think what an enormous advantage that would be in case of a fire." Scientific selling. And so chiropractic practice building and office procedure is a science also. Whether one is answering the question of how much do you charge, or can you cure headache, raid, or merely using proper procedure to subtly instill the referral concept in the patient's mind, selling his patients and keeping them sold is as much a science as adjusting, and often just as important, I might add. To keep up to date with the science of selling, our chiropractic service to the parade of patients is a link of study we all need to pursue to fulfill our destiny, our mission, and talents to our profession, to our colleagues, to our town, to our sick and suffering brethren who must be sold, and to God Almighty, who undoubtedly placed chiropractic in our hands to deliver it to his ailing children, so they in turn can fulfill their missions, their talents, and their destinies. Yes, indeed, selling is a science. As I said, Elmer Wheeler, world-renowned lecturer on salesmanship and human relations, who originated selling the sizzle instead of the steak, closed his talk at the 3rd annual homecoming for the Parker graduates with a challenge to the 1,037 in attendance. He said, "You doctors of chiropractic are rendering a magnificent service to the world. I congratulate you for the wisdom of your efforts to improve your impression upon the masses by continuous study of the improved techniques of human relationship and downright salesmanship," said Elmer, "such as those you are getting here from the practice building and office procedure laboratories of the Parker School of Practice Building. Proper procedure not only includes proper office procedure, but also proper handling of patients with words. Words are convincing. Men have devoted their lives to researching into the psychological effect of words. Advertising is a million-dollar business that owes its very existence to the adroit use of words. As a matter of fact, it's like Mr. Johnson O'Connor said in a recent Reader's Digest article. Thousands of tests have proved that one's adeptness and ability at words coincides exactly and precisely with success in all fields of endeavor. Words have tremendous power, and the skillful use of them, not deceptive use, brown baggers, can mean the difference between success and failure. Mr. Wheeler gave several examples of how words can sell. It won't rub off, sold white shoe polish with mathematical precision to women buying white shoes. The kind the real Indians wear, sonny, sold Indian moccasins to 3 out of 13 boys shopping with their mothers. It won't roll when dropped, sold 10 million square clothespins. How'd you like to cut your shaving time in half, double the sale of a shaving cream? It won't unravel in the mouth while smoking, zoomed sales of a popular cigar. These are examples of what words can do in selling. Magic words and tested sentences and phrases work equally well in the chiropractor's office. For example, "There is no charge" begins the answer to a question of how much it costs to see the doctor. This answer activates a prospective patient into becoming a regular patient by removing, with words, the basic fear of spending money. A policy of not charging for a brief consultation and perhaps preliminary examination to explain services to a prospective patient in your office is a scientific approach, and one that has cleared the way for thousands of sick people to visit our brown baggers' offices. Yes, stated emphatically, is a word that has been used to answer particular questions to convince more people in search of health that chiropractic may be their answer. In response to questions such as, "Can you help headaches?" this simple, quick answer is better than 1,000 words of descriptions. Remember, incidentally, brown baggers, as you awake of a morning, go through your entire day trying to answer yes to all requests that come your way. Just imagine that God is placing various valuable people, places, and things in your path today, and that as many as you can say yes to, more effective will be your proper procedure. Be flexible enough to be in agreement with patients' request if it is at all possible. Remember that there are some chiropractors who so desire, even though it's subconsciously and they might not know that they have this yearning, so much of a desire to change people, to make them wrong and make them right, that they go through life with a no concept rather than a yes concept. Now, the idea of yes, as we said, the simple, quick answer is better often than 1,000 words of description. And here is why. When such a question is posed, such as "Can you do anything for headaches?" the mind is open, awaiting the answer. That question gives the patient a feeling of confidence and security in you and in your service. You then qualify your affirmative answer after answering a definite yes. Most people tend to qualify first and answer last, a procedure that is much less convincing. Just a mere reversal of procedure, of changing from a no to a yes, can mean a great deal of difference in your daily proper office procedure. This is indeed proper procedure. This, indeed, is scientific selling. We had a doctor at one of our practice building research labs who sent out 100 thank you grams to his patients who had referred another patient. The message read, "Thank you for referring Mr. Jones to us. To demonstrate our gratitude for your interest in other sick people, we are enclosing a little gift. We hope it will help you, help us, maintain your own good health." Accompanying the thank you grams was the gift, one of his own imprinted checks made payable to the doctor himself in the amount of $4. It had an inscription in the lower left-hand corner that read, "For one adjustment." Our doctor kept records on the return of the checks. He recorded the number of people each patient referred as a result of the gift. He also kept an accurate account of the number of additional visits each referred patient made within a period of 100 days as a result of this re-stimulation. The experiment brought in 68 of the 100 checks sent out. He received a number of telephone calls complimenting him on the unusual gift. During the 100 days, our doctor reported that he received $1,088.80 in actual income as a result of the venture. It cost the doctor only a few hours of his time. It resulted, in his opinion, in the saving of 2 lives and relief from agonizing pains by a number of other people. This is making chiropractic practice building and office procedure a science, and this is only one of the many new experiments we conduct daily in our associated research labs throughout the country. Many of these are shared with you in SHARE. After they are completely tested and pre-tested and found to be largely accurate and beneficial to everyone everywhere, they are placed in the seminar as regular curricula of our teaching. This is a test we have just completed recently, and we're happy to share the results with you in hopes it might be helpful. All of us have had patients who respond rapidly under chiropractic care and then want to cease adjustments when symptomatic relief comes. We have all tried many approaches in attempting to explain the correction period, but usually meet with blank looks of skepticism. In another of our practice building research labs in a Midwestern city, another chiropractor attempted to discover a procedure for dealing with patients who were reluctant to continue after getting symptomatic relief. He found he got the best response by making 2 analogies. "We relieved your pain in 4 visits, Mr. Jones, even after you had had 1 operation and been under the care of 5 other doctors. Don't you think that we should also know the length of time needed to completely correct your condition and assure it's not returning?" The other effective analogy is the one that we described early on record about the car running out of gas and being pushed up the hill, but if they stopped, it would roll back down to the state of disease as it started. Now, this improved explanation made it possible for a greater number of patients to understand the difference between relief and correction. To a great degree, brown baggers, we are successful because we use convincing language. Whether we do it by our inherent ability or acquired knowledge through education, through experience, or through training. If we do not convince our patients and keep them convinced on our services, as a doctor of chiropractic, our practices will surely lag. So, brown baggers, re-examine your present approaches throughout your working day and improve upon them. Begin by basing your examination on the premise that selling is a science.